reviewer is here, and I'm back to give y'all this movie review of Kung Pao Into the Fist. And this movie came out in 2001, I believe. And this is the DVD of it. I think it's 2002. But anyway, this movie was directed by Steve Oedekerk. In case y'all don't know about this film, this movie is pretty much a parody of an old martial arts film that came out in 1970 something. I think that I can't remember the name of it right now, but this movie is one of them films that, you know, I'll explain that at the end, but they say silly, perfect fun, a zany parody. All right. Now, I'm going to say at the beginning of the film, I'm going to tell y'all what happens in the beginning. And I think Steve Oedekerk was pretty much part of the whole film. And then I think the female named Jennifer Tung, she played as Whoa. That's her name, Whoa. And then I think that's it. I don't know who else was on there. If anybody else, feel free to correct me. All right. Now, this movie starts off as Steve Oedekerk, who is the chosen one. That's his name, the chosen one, right? And as a child, he was a baby. And then the villain name, what's his name? Master Tang, who changed his name. You know what? I ain't gonna speak on that too long, but and wind up killing his family and stuff like that. And then they tried to capture the baby, who was the chosen one, and the chosen one start whipping their behinds, you know, as a baby, you know what I mean? And he's doing a lot of silly stuff to escape from his goons, right? But then, you know, at the beginning, he wind up beating them up, pissing on them as a baby. And then he winds up escaping. And he starts rolling down the hill or whatever to escape. Now, again, this is a comedy film. And then, you know, after that, he's an adult now. And he's just doing things like fighting and you know, having a lot of comedy stuff like that throughout the film. And as I watch it, this movie is crazy because they redub the old film and they just re-say the words, what's being said of the character's mouth. Like, for example, you know how you see the same exact movie, but the sounds are different, like the voice. All right. And it's crazy, man. But one of my favorite scenes on this movie is the scene the one with Jennifer Tung, who plays Whoa. That was a great scene. Another great scene is the one with Master and the other guy, who is his partner, talking back and forth to each other, and they changing clothes. He say things like, "Your clothes are black," and then the guy clothes be actually black, and then the other guy, then the guy again to say, "Your clothes are red," and then he'll show up in red clothes. It's crazy stuff, man. But I'm not gonna get too much in depth with this movie. And also the scene with him fighting the cow, the chosen one. They got the scene there. I remember watching the preview and it was hilarious as heck, you know. I'm gonna say that's it. I'm not gonna say too much spoilers on there. This movie does unbelievably has a plot. All right, so to rate this movie, I'm not gonna really rate it. And it says on the bottom, a laugh out funny spoof, right? You see him standing there with the nunchucks with golfers, you know what I mean? I'm gonna be real with y'all, man. This is gonna be kind of a longer video than usual, but I have to explain it. I actually watched this movie in theaters, right? So when I watched it in theaters, I didn't really laugh like that because I was like, what the hell kind of crap is this? So I was watching this movie in the theaters, and I never really laughed. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't understand what he was doing. But then when I got out the theaters, I was very disappointed and things like that. So about a week later, I started laughing at some of the jokes when I was thinking about it. I said, you know what? I'm starting to understand why he made this film. You know what I'm saying? After about a week later, when I went back in the theater to watch it, I mean, crazy stuff, man. I went back in the theater to watch it again, and I started laughing at some of the scenes. It's a spoof comedy, just like it says. It's one of those films, compound into the fist. I'm gonna say it like this. It's one of those films that you have to really pay attention to details. It's not one of them films that you can just watch and skim through it, and because you won't like it like that. It's one of them films you got to really sit down and appreciate how crazy the humor is. Like one scene, I'm just gonna say an example. On one scene, on the redub scene, when one of the Chinese people asks him, "Who is he?" and the guy just speaking for a long time, but he's not saying nothing, and then he says, "I don't know." Just like that. Like, it's some crazy funny crap, man. Matter of fact, I'll put that video in the description box for y'all to watch. And like I said, it's less than 10 seconds. In other words, and what I'm trying to say here, Steve Oedekerk is a freaking genius. He really is. And even though this movie received a lot of negative feedbacks, this movie eventually became a cult classic. Like, it really has a huge cult following. Because I think when a lot of people rated this movie, I think they didn't understood what Steve Oedekerk was doing. This film has to be one of the most genius films out there. You know what I'm saying? It's ridiculous how funny this film is. Like, you have to watch it. Again, like I said, you have to sit down and really watch this film to appreciate how much of a genius Steve Oedekerk is. I've heard through the grapevines, they say that he's working on a sequel to this. I hope so, because this movie is funny as heck, man. So with that being said, that's it. Shout out to the director, Steve Oedekerk, for coming out with a great film. Like I said, this has a very huge cult following for those that don't know. All right, and shout out to everybody else who was part of this film. All right. See, I told you it was a little longer than usual, but I had to explain. But that's it. Much love to the real folks, and I'll be on here back with another review. All right. Peace out, guys.